artist, welcome to another video. In today's video I'm going to swatch and share my thoughts about the new Holbein granulating watercolors. We've all been waiting very impatiently and they are here. So in today's video I'm going to first swatch them and kind of describe the best way that I can the colors, and then I'm going to tell you my thoughts and impressions and my favorite colors, and which ones I think you should absolutely try if you like the look of them, of course, which ones I think are unique to Holbein, because it seems like everyone is coming out with granulating watercolors. I mean, Daniel Smith were the OGs, but now more brands are joining and I'm here for it. But this is still an expensive adventure to try them all. So I want to make sure that, you can really get to see all of the swatches really, really nicely, all the colors, and know if, which colors are worth your money. So the first color is called, and forgive me if I mess up the names because they're quite a mouthful, Pampas Grass Yellow. This is a very, very warm yellow. I'm here for it. And it has kind of like a very faint, I want to say like brownish-ishy, maybe reddish granulation. I would say they're all granulating, but some are much more than others. And this one is, I would say, probably in the middle. The next color is called Flamingo Orange, and it is PR233 P073, and it is kind of quite a luminous, corally, like a pinkish, reddish, orangey color. It's quite hard to describe it, with some pink. I think this is Potter's Pink, that PR233, I'm gonna say. So with that as kind of granulation, so like that Potter's Pink granulation. Could be that that's also in the first one. Okay, the next color is Daybreak Orange, PG50 P073 PR254. This one is interesting. It has that cobalt teal granulation to it, but the base color itself, you can see it's kind of like a slightly muted reddish color. It's quite an intense color. Some of the colors here are not that intense. This one definitely can get really, really deep. And yeah, it has a very interesting color situation with that red, orangey, and the cobalt blue. Okay, next one is Trumpet Vine Red. It's PY159 PR177. This is, again, it's like this pinkish, reddish, orangey color with some orangey separation. It's not super granulating from my experience. The next one is Lunar Eclipse Red. This is quite orangey with some, I don't know, these colors are I find them very, very hard to describe sometimes. But I'll try. And I feel like it also has something that looks like Potter's Pink somewhere there. It's quite intense. Okay, the next color is Burke's Parrot Pink. This one has some fluorescent in it, and it's just like this kind of neon pink with some, it looks like some neon orange in it. And yeah, they are like all of these, like all this row, they are granulating, but probably not, I wouldn't call them like super granulating. Okay, moving on. Cherry Blossom Pink. This one is PR233 P073 PW6, so it has white in it. It's quite opaque. It's like a very soft pinkish, like a touch of purple in it also, I would say. Very, very delicate. It does have, again, I think that is Potter's Pink granulation in it. Yeah, interesting color. Next is Twilight Purple, PV47 PR233 P013. This is like a pinkish, purpley color with that cobalt violet granulation to it. This one, I would say is kind of like heavy granulating. Next we have, I'm really holding myself not saying opinions, so we'll see. Next one is Earthshine Violet. This is PB29, PR177, and PR122. This is kind of like a purple violet color with that. PB29 is ultramarine blue, so it has that ultramarine blue granulation. The next color is Clematis Violet, PY159. So that is a yellow pigment, and you can totally see it in this color. PB29, that's ultramarine blue, and PV23, I think this is like dioxazine violet or something. This is a very intense color. Both of the violets are very intense. And this one they're both very intense, but they're quite different from each other. And this one, the second one, has like that yellow granulation. Next we have Nightfall Indigo, PG50, PV715, PB60, so quite a cocktail there. And I would say this is like a mid-tone blue, something like that, with some granulation. Can you hear my excitement? Next we have Jade Vine Blue. This one is PV47, and you can definitely see that purple granulation. PG7, PB15, PW6, so there's a little bit of white here. This is kind of like, it's a very clear phthalo turquoise with some purple granulation. That's how I would describe this color. Next we have Ocean Blue. This one is even more intense. It's PY159 and PB15, so it's like phthalo blue with some what appears to be like green separation in this color. It's super, super intense. Next is Wonder Forest Green, PY43, PG50, and this is kind of an emerald color with that cobalt teal granulation in it. Okay, I'm finally catching up with myself, I think. The next color is P Foul Green. This one is PY159, and again, you can see this kind of yellowish granulation. PR232, PG7, that's phthalo green, and PB15, that's phthalo blue. So again, it's kind of like this turquoise. It's probably a little bit more greenish than the Jade Vine Blue, and this one has yellow granulation, whereas the Jade Vine Blue has that purple granulation. Next we have Japanese Bush Warbler Green, PG17, PY42 and 43. This one is quite an opaque, kind of intense, like a very yellowy green with some more green granulation. Then we have Mimosa Yellow, which is much greener than the other yellows. This, I wouldn't call it a yellow, I think it's a green. It's PY159, PB29, which is again ultramarine, and PG17. It's like this light earthy green with some what appears to be kind of like bluish green granulations. Then we have Full Moon Yellow. This is PY159, PY42, and PBK6, so it has some black in it. This one is quite similar to the Japanese Bush Green, but it is kind of a little bit more yellowy, but they're very, very similar. The Japanese one has like more green granulation, and this one seems more yellow. Then we have Hazy Moon Yellow. This is PY159, PBK6, and PB15. It appears to be kind of like a very, very muted dark green. That's how it looks, with some black to it. Then we have Echinops Green Gray, PB29 and PG17. This is like a muted turquoise color. So it has ultramarine blue and PG17, I think. Okay, I'm not sure which green it is. I don't think it's phthalo green. Anyway, no, I think phthalo green is PG7. So yeah, like a very, very muted turquoise. Next is Shoebill Blue Gray. This is PB71, PB29, that's ultramarine blue, and PBK11, so that's black. And this is like a muted blue with some blue granulation in it. Yeah, probably that's how I would describe it. And then the next one is Moonlit Night Blue. This is PB29, again, ultramarine blue, and PBK6. And this one, I feel, is just compared to the previous one, it's a little bit like cleaner, the color, a little bit more intense. It kind of gives me a bit like a blackened indanthrone blue vibes to it. Yeah, I guess that's how I would describe it. So it's just a little bit more inky blue deep than the Shoebill Blue Gray. And now the last two, which are probably like very, you know, one of the more like interesting colors. We have Rainy Night Moon Black, PB29, PR101. And this is, it really, really reminds me of the Tundra Violet from Schmincke, which I love. They're very similar, I think. And this one, it's kind of like a purpley blue that also has some like brown granulation to it. And then we have the last one is Eurasian J Rose Gray, which is PB29, PG18, and PO73. And this one is, I would say, sort of like a muted violet color with some strong blue granulation. And yeah, I guess that hint of that orange. So these colors are quite hard to describe. And now, before I tell you my favorite colors, pause the video and write below your favorites and which ones you think I'm enjoying. I would love to, first of all, know what you liked, and also if you can guess which ones I would consider a must. And before I tell you that, I want to mention that I have a new ebook available on my website, and that is the Creative Lens Landscape Edition. This is a collection of 100+ photos that I curated and edited specifically with the artist in mind to really help you when you need some inspiration and you don't want to start scrolling endlessly for, you know, good reference photos. So more details on that below. And I also have now a bundle that includes both of the Creative Lens ebooks and the Creative Lens sessions. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then check out the information. For this little demo here, I'm using one of the photos from the new landscape edition. It's a photo of Hallstatt, which is a very, very picturesque little village in Austria that is very well known, and I have to say for a good reason. It is beautiful and located on a lake, and yeah, just lovely and a fun subject to paint, even though I'm like just using the reference photo as very loose inspiration, which is what I like to do. And I also talk a lot about that in the Creative Lens sessions, which are video tutorials of painting and sketching inspired by the reference photos. So let's talk about the colors. In general, I want to say, first of all, these are new to me. So these are first impressions. I did play with them and painted with them, but only time will tell. I'm very impressed with the formula. If you don't know, like all these like granulating watercolors can be challenging to formulate, and many brands sometimes drop the ball on this, and the formulation can be very like heavy on the binder. I think because of the nature of these pigments and the large particles, I think you need larger amounts of binder to keep the paint workable, but sometimes it's a bit too much and it's just like a mess. I feel that Schmincke, for example, which are usually perfection when it comes to formulation, kind of dropped the ball on this with their super granulating colors. But all the tubes that I've tried now from this particular Holbein set, none of them had any like excess binder, and the formulation was beautiful. Some colors are more intense than others, but I think that's just like the nature of how they, created these colors. So let me tell you about my favorites. First of all, I really like that Pampas grass yellow. It's like this really warm yellow with that Potter's pink granulation. Granulating yellows are not something that you see a lot. Again, Schminke, I think, dropped the ball a bit. They tried to create a few, and I think they have one that is like the Shire yellow, something like this. It's really not great. I was very, very underwhelmed with it, and this one is just lovely. It also has a lot to do, like a lot of my opinions here in this part of the video are just my personal preferences. And so I can definitely see how certain colors, a lot of people would enjoy them, but it's just not, colors that I personally love. So please take that under consideration. Flamingo Orange, that one is a winner. It's this like luminous, pinky, corally, orangey color that is just like beautiful. So if I'm also trying to, let's say I didn't want to buy the whole set, I mean, I bought it for the purposes of this video and to help you make better choices, but I would definitely get Pampas Grass Yellow and Flamingo Orange. So I added the swatches on top, so hopefully that will help you know better what I'm talking about. I'm going to talk about all the colors from the same order that I swatched them. So from left to right, starting from the top row, I talked about the two first colors. Then we have Daybreak Orange, and you can see this is a very unique color. I think a lot of people would love it. For me, it just doesn't give me the feels. What can I say? Trumpet, the next one, Trumpet Vine Red. This is a pretty color. This one I feel like I need to use it a little bit more, but it's probably just too similar to the other two. One I already mentioned, Flamingo Orange, and the other one I'll soon talk about, that I think it's just a bit redundant. The next color is Lunar Eclipse Red, right? I'm on the top row and I'm on the second color from the right, Lunar Eclipse Red. This is just like a very, very strong kind of orangey color. Again, not my cup of tea. I think some people will like it. Now we're moving to the final color in this row, Burke's Parrot Pink. And if you guessed that this is my favorite, you are wrong. No, I'm kidding. It's definitely like in the must-have top list. This color has fluorescent pigments in it. It is fugitive. It is glorious. It's like flamingo in a box, like in a tube. I love it. I love that Holbein brought the neons into the granulating game. I wish they did that more. This for me is like one of the most exciting colors in this collection. I absolutely love it. Again, time will tell how all of these are, if I can combine them, integrate them into my current favorites. But this one is great. Cherry Blossom, we're now on the second row. Cherry Blossom Pink. This one is interesting. I think I need to spend some time with it. It's very light. It's very opaque. It's pretty. It's a pretty color. It's nothing like, it's quite unique. I haven't really seen anything like it. I like it. So yeah, I reserve the right to kind of share my thoughts with further use. Next we have Twilight Purple. This one was kind of the surprise for me. I love this color so much. It's so good. Holbein just worked some magic here. It's like pink, but it's also like soft peach, and then it has that cobalt violet granulation. It is perfection. I love it. I love it. Yes, that's it. Okay, moving on to the two violets. They're just too intense for me. Between the two, I guess I like the Earthshine Violet more because it's just like more on the reddish pinkish side. But I don't know, they're just like too intense for me. Again, this is very, very personal preference. Maybe you love intense purples, and so you might really be excited about these. For me, they were just like, okay, too much. Nightfall Indigo, I feel like this was a miss. Like this could have been ultramarine blue on steroids, and instead it's just kind of meh. I don't know. It doesn't really do anything for me. It's just like, okay, it's just okay. Then we have Jade Vine Blue. This is, I think a lot of people would enjoy it. I personally just don't really like violet and teal together, and so this color doesn't do it for me, but it has like intense granulation of that violet. So if you like that combo of like violet and teal, I think you would love this. Ocean Blue, I need to think about it a bit. It's super intense. We're now in the third row from the left. Super intense. I'm not convinced. Wonder Forest Green. I love this color so much. Thank you, Holbein. This is like the love baby of emerald green from Sennelier and cobalt teal from every other brand. It's lovely. Again, it has like a softness to it, and it has that cobalt teal granulation, and it has like, it's a little bit minty, a little bit like emeraldy. So pretty. Thank you, Holbein, for this one. Then we have the Peafowl Green, and this one again, it's just doesn't, I think a lot of people will like this. If you like, again, if you like turquoise, you might really like this one. I don't know if it floats my boat. Then we have this trio in the third row of two colors that look very similar, and then that slightly greenish one in the middle. I'm not a fan of that Mimosa Yellow. This is the one in the middle, so the second from the right. Just doesn't float my boat. I think other people might enjoy it. And then between the two, the Japanese Bush Green and the Full Moon Yellow, they're very similar. I think the Japanese one is a little bit more interesting, but yeah, they're very similar. I wouldn't buy both. Absolutely not. And now the bottom row. The bottom row, I feel, was kind of underwhelming. I think we've been spoiled by other brands with these like dark, super granulating colors, and I feel like many of these just didn't excite me enough. And so Hazy Moon Yellow, I'm starting from the left. It's okay. The Echinops Green, Gray, it's like, okay. The Shoebill Blue, okay. Then Moonlit Night Blue, it starts to get a bit more intense, a bit more interesting. It's a nice color. It could be like an interesting indigo alternative, although I didn't notice that it granulated enough for me to really love it. So I'm not sure. And then the last two, these are really pretty. So Rainy Night Moon Black and the Eurasian J Rose Gray. These are really pretty. They separate, they granulate, they do all the things. Those would definitely be my picks for dark colors if you wanted to like kind of build maybe like a limited palette from this release. These two are wonderful. If I had to choose one, honestly, I wouldn't know which one to choose. I think they're both really pretty, and those are my opinions about these. I had fun painting with them. The quality is great. The formulation is great. The color range is interesting. I don't know. I feel like maybe they could have surprised us in a couple more colors here, Holbein, but all in all, I think they did a good job, and there are a few that I really am excited about. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you are going to pick up some of these colors and which ones. I would really love to know. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful. I really want people to spend their money in a much better way than I spend mine. So yeah, I'll see you in another video very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.